Manipur is in the northeast India with the city of Imphal as its capital. Manipur, as the name suggests, is a land of jewels. It is surrounded by mountains and hills. Manipur is inhabited by three major ethnic groups: the Meitei and the Manipuri Muslims in the valley and the tribes in the hill. Its rich culture excels in every aspect as in dance, theatre and sculpture. The charm of the place is greenery with the moderate climate. The Manipuri women have a great role in traditional socio-economic sphere. In this society, women are more resilient, hardworking and much more realistic than men in coming to terms with their life. In order to support their families, they are ready to face any situation that comes on their way. Loktak Lake, the freshwater lake in northeast India, also called as the only floating lake in the world. This ancient lake plays an important role in the economy of Manipur. It serves as a source of water for hydropower generation, irrigation and drinking water supply. The lake is also a source of livelihood for the rural fishermen who lives in the surrounding areas. These fishes are then brought to the Imakathen, the mother's market and the nearby market.
And in fact, there was a system called Lalu, whereby every able-bodied person were in the services of the state. So you can imagine why women's economic role was, a historical necessity, number one, and it was also institutionally organized in such a way that men were more involved in the statecraft and defense of the state, and women were into trade and production. So this economic base of the women historically was the main reason why society and history had given a higher level of status to Manipuri women.
Imakathen is well-organized market catering to the interests, needs of various consumers. It is a site for the affirmation of women's control over the production, use and management of consumption patterns. It is the second largest women's market in Asia.
The issues of women in Manipur, and I would say the issue of all women in the northeast of India, is quite different from the issues of women and their status in India as such. One of the reasons is that women in the northeast, and of course all people in the northeast, are of a different racial stock, of different cultures. As we all know, the northeastern people are of Southeast Asian origins.
Ima market shoulders a greater and more important responsibility in the field of trade and commerce. It also reflects the degree of independence and pride they enjoy while contributing their shares towards the growth of the society.
The character of Manipuri women, I would say, we can sum it up in three words. One is, she is very independent. Number two, she is very willful. And number three, she has got a sense of honor.
To sum up, the market reflects the economic, political and social characteristics of the state.
Street vendors, I think they are the real women who are suffering a lot because of the conflict situation. You may find some of them, already lost their husbands. Maybe that means non-state actors, accent, or maybe these army, maybe some like also CRPF, who exercise their powers under the Armed Forces Special Force in 1958.
Imam Kathain are the mainstay of earning a livelihood for women and for supporting their families. As a site for launching any form of protest, agitation or movement by women, Kathain are affected in many ways. Boycott of Kathain is one of the strategies followed by the women. At the same time, the government follows on imposition of Kathain bans whenever women undertake agitations, curfews, general strike and shootout in the marketplace or other incident which affects the Kathain.
Blockade tawrokpadi moment se aduki matik henkale akhoi Manipur da thoksebo oraga su adagi khara lakpadano hongboi wani ado akhoi Manipur gi pothong ata tawraga di asongi blockade tawri habe dhawa duna atha pot thaba lakpa kangu su maman henkale ayo masu henkale leiba mi da di war sitaba matam da di yam awaba moi mi gi poti paisa bu thigadra leyi yungi awa pa bu leigadra isa isugi bu phanagadra hari wa khandane awa yam chaung thengene di.
The government of Manipur should sit up, ponder upon and then stretch its helping hand to cleanse them. Remember the cups of misery are full and the patient is almost exhausted. If there be any active volcano lying behind in Manipur, it's our women.
There are lot of parties which are involved and this has assumed the form of terrorism also. See, there are more than 30 outfits of insurgency.
Manipur's conflict situation in terms of insurgent and the communal are ongoing process which is deprived in form of economic blockades and strikes. They cause destruction to private and public properties, shortage of food supplies and essential commodities. Kidnappings are frequent. Because of this, there's an act called Armed Force Special Power Act 1958, which means that the army rules the state and they can shoot anyone if they suspect them to be insurgent.
Manipur is undergoing conflict since 1980s. It was in April, May 1980 that there was such operation conducted by the CRPF, and in that such operation many people got killed, including women and children. So from that time onwards till now, I think for the last more than 30 years, women in conflict situation are suffering a lot.
This affects the daily routine of the people, a conflict which human rights groups claim leaves at least 500 women widowed each year. In violent conflict situation, the male population is used by both the armed forces and the insurgency organization, thereby increasing the insecurity of women in all spheres of socio-economic life.
The whole life of the people are affected. Say there are bans and blockades, there are killings, and in relation to these activities, again the excesses of army and security forces had also taken place, killing people. Even the innocent people have been trapped, they have been arrested, they have been killed on the plea of their insurgency activities.
This vulnerability is also responsible for the emergence of new people's movement led by women. The worst of conflict are directly in terms of threat to life, sexual harassment, rape, and restriction upon livelihood.
Arrest memo pidana daito loina maklaudana asam rifle na adumba haribu nupi masa siu puraga heta hatu oga hadora ko haiwa kam ase masidi aikoi nupi amo oina nupi masa mo yamna hari yamna tamchiu mongda rep na singba tawra matunga hatpa ni hat nipun sugma thudok asidi aikoi nupi khuding mati thamoi sukni ngai ni
Maya Paibis patrol the neighborhood late into the night with torches in their hand. Their presence is found in every village and locality in the valley area.
At night, they can be, staying outside the house without a wink of sleep even. This is not only the insurgency related, but the drug addiction. All these things are taking place, and these are all now linked up with all these terrorist activities also. But the women folk stood together fighting against all these odds.
Membership is voluntary, and married women in the age group of 30 to 80 years are the usual members. They are engaged in fighting against state repressions and human rights issues. On the whole, they are exposed to dangers, the bullets of the conflicting parties, and sexual and physical harassment are the mercy of the elements. Once they return home, they have to stay alert of the sound, clanging of poles that signal an emergency situation and rush out to face the unknown. The Maya Paibis have been raising slogans against all sorts of repressive measures of the government. They have now risen against the government for the violation of human rights, tortures of the innocent people, custodian deaths, disappearance from custody, killings in fake encounters, rape and molestation of helpless women, are calling vehemently for putting an end to all these horrendous chapters.
In relation to the insurgency, then thereafter imposition of Armed Forces Special Power Act and the outcome of all these applications, the negative aspects in the society, the whole problems are cropping up one after another, and the real sufferers, real fighters are the women folk. And this is what we want to let you know, and many more things will come. And if the women folks' courage and their unity is properly guided and utilized, our Manipuri society can be made a role model in the whole of the world.
These movements of Maya Paibi will undoubtedly become the springboard for the Third Women's War.